morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you're at, whatever your time zone is in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Genesis Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Briscoe, live in the 6 cities. This podcast is brought to you by BeatFakMusic in association with Anchor FM. Just want to say it's been a minute, it's been a while, but I'm back, and appreciation to all that have listened and supported the podcast. Any questions, you can send it at beatfakmusic@gmail.com. So beatfakmusic@gmail.com. That link will be available on the podcast, which will be posted on YouTube, which all podcasts are available on YouTube. Haven't done it yet, but it's something I'm working on and which is coming soon. I will be also advertising and posting my podcast via iTunes, so stay tuned for that. I've been working on that. That's coming soon. As you all know, that these podcasts have been short podcasts, very short, but very informative, and I'm just going to continue to do the best I can to be informative as much as possible. Talk about the best topics that we can talk about, the subjects that affect all of us, and just do what we got to do to make life a lot easier for others to understand. I think communicating and kind of spreading the word and sharing information is very important. So that's what this podcast is about. That's what I love to do, and I'm enjoying this right now. It's just good to be back. It's good to be talking, free-flowing here. This ain't scripted, folks. I'm just telling you straight goods. I don't have a bunch of papers written out about how am I going to do this podcast, but what I will say is that this podcast, we will have a couple issues we will discuss today. And but before we get to that, I want to make an announcement concerning a project that I'm working on with my brother B Nigma. Demo Sessions Volume 2 has officially been announced. It will be coming soon. I'm not giving any specific dates. Just keep your eyes and ears open for that. But the project is coming out. I'd like to thank everybody that supported the first project. It was a journey. It was a wake-up call. It was a lesson. It taught myself, I'm sure it taught my brother Nigma a lot about just the business itself, the production, and just people in general. When you're starting something new, which I talked about on on my last podcast, you finally get an opportunity to see who supports and who doesn't support you. So, and just before I continue on with that, speaking of my last podcast, I talked about the essence of support and, you trying to force yourself to please other people and make other people see what you're doing. I believe this: if your product is good, you are going to get people to look at you. You are going to get people to pay attention to you, and people are going to respect you regardless whether they like you or not. So just keep doing what you're doing. To all those out there doing private projects, personal projects, entrepreneurs, keep doing what you're doing. So Demo Sessions Volume 2 is coming out. Preview videos available on my Instagram. It's a very short video, but check it out. The video will also be available on YouTube. So when this show is officially posted and officially on, which will have links and all that other good stuff, the preview video for Demo Sessions Volume 2 will also be on that link. So pay attention not only to this podcast, but also pay attention to the video. And I want you all to spread the news. Let people that you know, your friends, your family, people that you don't like, people that you do like, let them know. I mean, I'm not asking for you guys to repost or whatever. Just spread the word, because it's a project that we've worked very hard on, myself and Nigma, and we know how good this project is going to be. It's got a lot of power to it. It's a lot of essence to it. It's a lot of real vibes, real music, original material. There's no, anything that's just not real. It's very authentic. It's authentic. It's something that you could listen to and say, hey, you know what, this is something good. Also, if you are all looking for reliable photographers, I gotta send a shout out to Terry and Leslie Bryan, two fantastic photographers. If you're interested in a reliable photographer, I want you to check these guys out at artisttouchproductions@gmail.com. I'm also going to post that at the end of the show too, at the link. If you want to get a hold of these two talented ladies with what they do with that lens, 416-816-6351. So again, 416-88, sorry, my bad. 416-816-6351. artisttouchproductions@gmail.com. The company's called Artist Touch Productions. Terry and Leslie, they're fantastic photographers. Their work is phenomenal. I've worked with them. They're also available on Instagram, so check them out. I'll be putting their stuff at the end too. It'll be available at the end of this podcast on the YouTube link, so check it out. If you're looking for a photographer, whatever type of situation you got, these two ladies are on top of their game. So, but let's get this show started. It's time to talk some real stuff. So, there's something that has really kind of pinched me the last 48 hours, to say the least. I've had extensive conversations with close friends, family. I've had close talks with my lady about it. It's this Amber Guyger trial that commenced pretty much today. She went into Botham John's house. You know, my man just worked a 12-hour shift, sitting down watching TV, eating ice cream in his own yard that he pays rent for. And she decides to walk in and kill him and say how she didn't think it was his place. And, you know, my thing is about that whole situation is this. That's BS. I'm sorry, but when you're walking in your own place, you know how your place smells and what the feel and the vibe is. So you're walking into your kitchen area and you don't know that that's not your place. Either you're lying or you're technically, you know, intent is to kill the person. And I truly believe that her intent was to kill this young man. I think there's some type of connection between these two. I'm not going to make any speculations, but I think there's something. There's something that's not being said between the lines, hence why there's a lot of whispers in the back, and there's a lot of this, there's a lot of that. On top of that, she was only given 10 years. So you tell me, the audience that's listening to this podcast, 10 years for an outright murder to somebody who's in their place, eating ice cream and watching TV. The person gets 10 years. People fight on the street and intentionally or accidentally kill somebody and they get 20, 25, 30. This crime that she committed supposedly is up to 99 years in prison, and they only gave her 10. Why is that? I've heard white privileged. I've heard, you know, this is the system being a white-owned system, which is true. It's just ridiculous, like, you know. And then I saw the part where the brother came and hugged her and said that, you know, she should turn to Christ. Like, really? What is that going to do? That's not going to bring your brother back. That's not going to change the narrative. She's a murderer, and she's trying to make herself sound like she's innocent of something. What the hell was she doing going into his apartment at that time of the day? And why was she? I mean, we'll never know the truth, because Botham John is not going to say anything, because unfortunately he's no longer here with us on the planet, and Miss Guyger is not going to say nothing, because it might have ended up being 99 years instead of 10. So, it's one of those things where corruption has once again proven that our society is way behind when it comes to the criminal justice system. Because different rules for different folks, for different races. There's no question about it. This stuff has to stop. There's just no justification for it. And, people are out walking around saying, well, you know what, she made a mistake and this is that and all sorts of stuff. It's disgusting. She's a racist pig. There's no question about it. She's a racist pig. I'm telling you this right now, and you all listen to this podcast think it's whatever. Whatever your race is, this podcast is open for everybody. If that was a white person in that apartment that night, he's here today telling his story. Guarantee it. There's no way that if it's a white person in that apartment, he's not here today telling his story. Her lawyer's talking about, oh, it was a mistake. She had no idea what she was doing. But let me tell you something. When you see 5 to 99 years, you're going to cry too. I don't care if you're innocent, guilty, wrong, right. You're gonna cry and piss your pants. When she saw 5 to 99 years, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get my ass kicked in jail. So, at the end of the day, like I said, this is a very severe and very, very disgusting issue that needs to change and that needs to stop. These white officers killing these young black men need to stop. We need some type of control here. Because now what's going to happen when that black person one of these days kills a white police officer? What are they going to say? He's not going to get 10 years. Guarantee minimum 25 to life. He ain't going to get 10. And it's going to happen. The narrative has to change. And, I'm just reading a lot of stuff here about this case and the facts about this case, about this Guyger chick who was sex texting somebody. Apparently some guy that she was messing with, and she's supposed to be married or whatever the case may be. That's her personal business. But at the end of the day, this chick didn't have her shit together emotionally. And it was shown in the crime that she committed. And now she's got to pay for 10 years. Now the question is, will she make it to the 10 years? Some people are saying she might even not make it. She might get her ass, kicked in jail, excuse my language. Or she might just commit suicide. Because now she's on the other side of the fence. Now she's going to see what it's like to be locked up like an animal, because she is an animal. That's what animals do. Animals, they just barge in and do what they want. She's an animal. She's a full-fledged animal. She's certified too. So I just don't understand this case. I don't understand how these unlawful acts continue to be displayed and nothing is being said. So I don't understand. It's a sad story, and I think the family is never going to be able to recover from their loss. And it's a nightmare to see things like this and to really view the situation. And when you sit down and really look at it, say, my Lord, what's next? And who do you trust, and who can you, really say, okay, yeah, I can really trust this person. So, but you got to ask yourself this question. Anybody that's been a victim of, unlawful treatment by the police, or police officers of a minority who have taken abuse, because I know police officers of minorities who have been disrespected by their fellow police officers because of their race, and their color and their background. We had an officer of an Indian police officer who was killed in Houston. Yeah, he got killed. He was a good guy, sweep it under the rug, and that's it. That's it. If it was a white police officer, there would be all sorts of memorials and stuff like that for him. It's just disgusting. Like, this narrative needs to change. But it starts with us, right? So, where do we go next? That's a good question. I just feel that there's got to be a chapter that kind of just allows us to, create something special so that we can go on a path that could lead to some type of prosperity instead of nightmares and aches and pains and so. But otherwise, that's my take on it. I'm sure whoever listens to this is gonna, just say, whatever they gotta say. But her getting 10 years is ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's BS. She should get 20 to 25, and then let her understand what it's like to feel the pain of losing a loved one. So that's just my opinion. And I think the facts speak for itself. I think the videos speak for itself. I think the actions speak for itself. And I think the prosecutors did a tremendous job, talking their case and pleading their case and putting the necessary information on the table to let everybody see what's going on. Unfortunately, the 10 years doesn't do any justification. So, but that's my take on that case. On that note, another short podcast. Like I told you guys, I'm going to start off with short podcasts, and I'm going to be back with another one sooner than you think. Again, this podcast will be available on YouTube, so check out YouTube. New Chapter. Again, just type in New Chapter, NUCHAPTOR on YouTube, and you'll find the channel and you're good to go. So that's NUCHAPTOR. New Chapter. Check it out. So that's where the podcast is going to be. All the other information and stuff will be on this particular podcast. Also the video for the release of Demo Sessions Volume 2 will also be available on this channel. So check it out. It's coming soon. So, anywho, to all you listening to this podcast, thank you so much. Thank you for the support who's been listening. Another one's coming soon. Another short one's coming soon. And NBA season is coming up. Preseason has just started. I'm going to be talking a lot about that. So that'll be the sports edition of this podcast. Talk some NFL football. Talk some soccer. Some football. And we're definitely going to be talking about some track and field. So stay tuned for that. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much once again for listening to this podcast. I'm DJ Briscoe, brought to you by BeatFakMusic in association with Anchor FM. And that's what it is, and that's what it is, because we do things here in the Six City. So thank you so much again. Have a good night. We out.